Hello everyone, I hope you're doing amazing. I wanted to share a bit of encouragement with someone who may need this. The thought I want to cover today is that soundness and fidelity in your walk with God and your commitment to God's ways, that is going to impact who you are and what kind of counsel you will give people, even more than the experience you do or do not have. What I mean by that is, I do believe, for example, because I can speak on this one, is relevant to me, single people oftentimes can be treated in a church context or even a ministry context or even in the counseling world. Sometimes single people can be treated like they don't have any encouragement or counsel to give about relationship matters. And while certain troubles that a couple may have may be best addressed or better received from someone who has, for example, been married, counseling a married couple, there are some things that are more relevant to just relational dynamics, whether you're a married person or not, when it has to do with communication, um, expectations, addressing past traumas, addressing disappointments, standards. There are certain things that even a person who has never been married before can provide some level of support with. And what I'm trying to point out is that sometimes it's not just that person's experience, it is their soundness when it comes to what they ascribe to and what they are committed to. Another way I can kind of give that same example is, I remember having a conversation with a friend, a close friend, who has had a lot more experience in romantic or dating relationships than I have, and who's also aware of my experiences, or some of them. But anyway, I remember consulting with this person about a comment that was made to me by someone who I found out in the end was really just being a manipulator and trying to basically trying to find a weakness to cling to in order to get me to doubt myself, basically. And one of those things was basically that I didn't know I didn't know that something that I was asking for was not something to ask someone for, basically, in a relationship. And they were saying, like, you don't have a lot of experience in relationships, so blah, 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 is what the person was saying to me. And I remember going to a friend of mine. Well, not we ended up talking about it later on. And I repeated that to them because I genuinely wanted to know, is this a blind spot for me because I don't have as much relationship experience as this person or that person. And this person said to me that pretty much of all of their friends, I may have had the least amount of dating and relationship experience, but I actually give the best and the healthiest and the most sound counsel in certain situations. Not to say that I'm the best person for everything, but this person confirmed to me basically the point that I'm trying to make. And obviously not just her confirmation. I have been working in this field for over 10 years, and I've been studying it for longer than that. So, and I've worked with people. So, I need to encourage not just a single person who is in a context where you have to advise or counsel people who are married. Sometimes it's not even about marriage per se that you're counseling them about, but also, you could be a pastor, or you could be, um, a program director. If you're someone who does honor other people's competency, their expertise, their experience, their position. If you're someone who does have a reverence for that and is genuine, sometimes you can allow other people's perception of what you can or cannot do, or what you should or should not know, to cause you to doubt yourself, basically. And I think it's important to know that, especially in a Christian context, what you are committed to, theologically and theoretically, that's what is going to guide what you say to people, or maybe what you don't say to people. When you're working, especially in counseling, when you're working with people, obviously the care that you give, the counsel that you give, is going to be tailored to what is happening with them. And if you're spirit filled and you understand what comes with that, you're going to seek the Lord on what to say or what not to say, how to pray. Sometimes you don't have sometimes something can come to you that you don't even, it doesn't even immediately come to you what the theoretical framework is, or what the theological framework is. But the Spirit of God will give it to you, will tell you what it is that is happening in a situation, or tell you like how to navigate, how to pray, how to counsel that person or those people to pray. So it's not just experience. Experience is huge. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying it is not the only deciding factor on whether or not you have within you what it is that you need to give counsel, or to teach, or to consult or advise in certain situations. One of the ways we see that a lot in the secular world is in the education field. Sometimes just because a person has been in education for many, many years and has taught a lot of people and experienced a lot of things, doesn't always mean that they have the right approach to every situation. But when we can get maybe someone who is newer to the field, but they are, I guess they're more current with certain things, they are closer in age to the generation that is coming through school, and they have something to give. A lot of times those two people, if both of those people are secure in who they are, and they have a commitment to excellence in that field, and they love those children and they want to do well by those children, if you get those two people together, because there's some stuff that some old school educators, we just don't have some of what they had. But then there's some other things that they had that do not work today. I don't even think it worked back then. All they did back then was give trauma. So it's a mixture. None of us have it all. But if we're able to work together and not think that, oh, this person they're only such and such years old, what do they know? Or even to think like, oh, they're an old fogey, they don't get this. It's like you're missing out. Together, both people could serve very well if they're willing to step into the situations that are for them, that are best for them, and to work together in certain scenarios. I believe we need to understand that and apply that when it comes to ministry situations, whether it's teaching, whether it's counseling, whether it's directing a program, whether it is managing things. We can't just go by experience, even though experience can add a lot. But I was thinking about that today, as I have been learning from people who are younger and older than me, and as I have been placed in situations many times where I wouldn't even think that I would be the person that was called on, but where God has given me solutions for things. And it wasn't for me to think like, oh, no, this was an assignment. God allowed those people to come across me and me to come across them for us to do what needed to be done, to do whatever it is that we were doing for the kingdom. So be encouraged by that.